Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. Today I'd like to help you get all 3 Super Adventure Box songs, not only because it's something extra to do in the Super Adventure Box, but because 2 of these songs are actually requirements for some of the new upgrades added this year. You can now upgrade your slingshot into a boomerang or your bomb into a mega bomb, but we won't be talking about that in today's video. Instead, we'll just be focusing on the songs themselves. Before attempting to track down these songs, I would recommend that you play through Super Adventure Box normally at least one time. Not only will you need some of the items that you'll get along the way, but you do need to have World 2 and all of its zones unlocked in order to get these. If you're really only interested in getting the songs, then you may want to enable infantile mode, as it can make things a little bit faster, and for the latter 2 songs, I would recommend doing this. At the very least, make sure you have bombs unlocked and this fine gentleman's glove. You won't actually need the wooden whistle or the item that you use to play these songs unlocked in order to learn any of these songs, but at the end of the very first secret song location, you will be able to purchase this whistle for 250 baubles. And if you're somebody who likes to use the slingshot or the bombs to deal with enemies, you probably want to bring some extra baubles anyway. Let's get started with Zone 2, World 1. You'll be playing the vast majority of this level completely normal until you reach the river section, or the area of the game that is very reminiscent of Frogger. Rather than actually crossing this river though, you're better off just hopping in and trying to let the river guide you to one of the many stones that will stop you before the edge of the waterfall. Let one of those rocks stop you, hop on top of it, and then use that to get yourself over to the water spout nearby. Jump off the water spout and onto a cliff side, and take that cliff face all the way around until you can start jumping up. These jumps aren't terribly tricky, but with the camera zooming in and out, it can be a little complicated, so just do your best to try and remain patient and make your way up to the very top. Here you'll need to use a rock to get onto one of the jumping platforms, and that should spring you up to a series of flowers that'll fling you to the other side of the area. Here you just need to use one last spring platform to get up to a secret shop, and inside that shop you'll find your first song. You'll need to interact with the log that's sitting next to the fireplace, and as I said earlier, you can purchase a wooden whistle here for 250 baubles. Next we have World 2 Zone 2, and this is the most challenging of the 3. I'd consider using infantile mode to conserve on health and to speed things up, because even after you get off your last cloud, you still have a ways to go before you'll finally get this second song. Assuming you're already familiar with this level as you've played it before, use the infantile clouds to get yourself all the way to the area where you'll need to use your glove to hit the gong to progress. Hitting that gong will teleport you to a nearby platform, and you'll need to follow that platform across the bridge and over to the next building. There are a ton of ninjas you'll have to deal with throughout this entire part, and rather than saying it 1,000 times, just know that it'll be up to you to deal with the ninjas if you want to. Still looking at the face of the building you were headed to, you should see a stone with a glove symbol, and without getting close enough to activate the arrows, you should be able to hit this stone further into the room. Again, there are some arrow traps, so don't follow that stone into the room, rather just head 2 doors down and make your way through. You will be blocked by a wooden barrier that you can again use your glove to smash, and from here you'll just need to push the block the rest of the way down the hallway. Eventually the stone will stop moving and its lights will turn out, and it's here that you'll want to jump on top of that stone to avoid even more arrow traps in the wall. Again, you'll see another stone that you'll have to hit 1 or 2 times to get into position, and then again make sure that you jump on top of it and over so that you can avoid the last trap. You can now use the trampoline in the room to make your way to the next floor, but be mindful because there are a ton of arrow traps waiting for you. This may take some trial and error, but you're basically trying to use the trampoline to get to the second floor, and at the same time you're trying to jump in a direction on that second floor that will prevent you from being hit by those arrow traps. Once you do make it to the second floor, be mindful of all of the arrow traps as I mentioned, and in case you're getting hit by these and you're not quite sure where to look for them, I will leave a few seconds of footage of what those arrow traps look like on the wall. On this floor, you'll be moving more stones around with your gloves, and the goal here is just to make sure that you have enough stones in front of those arrow traps that you can use the trampoline in the center of the room. I'd recommend using the outside surrounding platform to avoid a lot of those arrow traps. Again, just try to be patient as you move each one of these stones, and do make sure you look before you approach that trampoline in the center of the room because you can still be hit by some of those arrow traps. The central trampoline will take you to the next floor, but you should probably try to quickly hug one of the walls and make your way around the outside perimeter of the room until you reach your next checkpoint. Standing on the piano key will allow you to leave the room, and it's on this outside edge that you should see another platform you can jump to. Here you'll have to fight a series of smaller mini-bosses that are kind of a pain, but usually give you some health when they die. You'll only have to deal with these enemies one at a time, and there are some jumps you'll need to make in between. Not that they're actually jumps, but it is very easy to think that you can drop to a platform when in fact you cannot. Once you've taken care of the third and final enemy surrounded by some piranha pools, jump on the structure in the middle of the room and make your way further into the building. Make a mad dash through this next room as it's full of more piranha, and once you're safely on the other side, you have a couple of decisions to make. Now, I said earlier I didn't want to make mention of the ninjas more times than I had to, but the next 2 floors up actually have a ton of ninjas, and it's a whole lot easier if you just deal with them all at once. Again, that's up to you. You can do this without attacking any other enemies, but I just personally find it to be the easiest way. With that in mind, just make sure that you get yourself a piranha fish, and you do this by standing close enough to one of the pools that one will jump at you, and once it's out of water, you can attack this with your regular weapon and it'll become a carryable item. Use the nearby clouds to get to the 2nd floor, and then use the trampoline to get to the 3rd floor. The trampoline is a little tricky and may take a couple of attempts. Just make sure you're picking a direction like you did earlier when jumping on this particular trampoline. As you carry the piranha, it'll often leap out of your hands and you'll have to attack it again to begin carrying it, so keep that in mind in case you didn't take out those ninjas. And after using the trampoline, you'll just be looking around the outside for some more clouds to take all the way up to the roof. Here you'll see a gold-plated platform with a giant octopus, and you'll need to start feeding it those piranha. You'll need to do this a few times until the octopus becomes heavy enough to weigh something on the other side of the building all the way up to the next checkpoint. Once you've got the octopus as heavy as it can be, head back to the roof and you should see another set of keys that you can jump to. From the checkpoint, head straight over the bridge and up a little bit of a hill until you can see a series of posts that have basically nothing underneath of them. You'll need to jump on the first one and follow it all the way down to the next area. It goes without saying, but again, try to be as patient as you can, and these jumps aren't too terribly difficult to make. Jump off the final post to hit yet another checkpoint, and from here you'll just need to head straight into the building ahead of you. Use your glove to smash the wood barrier, and use the trampoline in the center of that building to get to the highest floor you can. On the outside perimeter of the building, you should see another structure you can jump up on and make your way over to some more vegetation or tree branches that'll take you to the very top of the building, and from here you just need to make your way across the small bridge and over to yet another building. This also has a glove barrier that you'll need to break, and once you enter that room, try to hug the outside wall, avoiding all of the toads along the way. Eventually you'll see a door, and you need to take that door as soon as you can. Right next to that door, you'll see some tree branches you can jump up, and you'll be taking that to the next checkpoint. From that checkpoint, head left towards the red roof and get on top. Next to the roof, you'll see a bit of a mountain with a tree on it, and you'll need to take that tree all the way up. Once on top of the tree, you can see that you can make an easy jump to one of the higher platforms on a nearby building, and before exploring, make sure to turn around, jump up on a nearby structure like we did earlier, and standing on that structure, you should be able to jump onto some more trees that'll take you up one more floor on the building. From here, you can jump on the surrounding platform for the building and make your way around until you see some clouds. Here, you'll just need to jump up even higher and use those clouds to take you to the roof of the building. Over by where you were jumping up all those tree sections, you should see the top of a mountain that you can now jump on from the roof, and as long as you can make that jump, you're nearly done. On top of that mountain, you'll see a flower that'll bounce you over to another nearby mountain, and here you'll just need to follow that around until you see some hillbillies and a bunch more trees. Over by those enemies, you'll see an opening, and this is actually a maze like you've seen in other worlds or other zones in the Super Adventure Box. Follow it back and do your best to navigate the pretty simple maze. Once the maze opens up, you'll see another boss like you do in other mazes, but this one's a raccoon kingpin, and instead of fighting it, you should actually just look for the discolored part of the floor or the darker grass, place a bomb, and head through the opening. You'll drop down into a cave that's covered in green water that will hurt you, so just jump from stone to stone until you make it to the end, and once you see a flower, be sure to interact with that flower to learn your second song. Unlike the first song, you can actually use this one right here in order to see what it does. So if you have the wooden whistle, hit 332, 331, and a nearby stone mouth should open and give you some extra baubles. In World 2, Zone 3, we can learn the third and final song. Also, if you haven't already, be sure that you've unlocked the wooden whistle as well as the second song, as you will need both to learn the third. And for the best overall results, I would again recommend turning on infantile mode to keep things fast and to avoid slipping off edges, as this is an ice area. Take the infantile mode clouds on the smiley path until you eventually reach a platform that's covered in ice with 2 portals. Of the 2, you're going to want to take the portal with the frowny face, and this will take you over to a new area. Use either the ice ramp or another infantile cloud to get to a series of switches you'll need to activate in order to open the next room. You'll just have to activate each one of the plates before this happens, and once the door does open, you can move into the next room and start using your infantile clouds once more. You'll need 2 clouds to avoid the ice spikes on the floor, and then just follow the hallway until you see your next set of keys. Activate the first 2 infantile clouds as you move into the room, and on the rainbow arch of that second cloud, you should be able to play your second song and open a secret doorway. Inside, you'll just need to keep jumping up, and this is actually where it'll open up into a bit of a maze. Just follow the hallway all the way down to the second to last doorway, and once through that second to last doorway, turn left, right again, and then just continue straight until the room opens up. The ground will be covered in ice, and there will be a ton of banana creatures that you'll need to defeat all of before a door will open. Keep in mind that, at least on infantile mode, a lot of these creatures will drop healing items, so rather than wasting baubles, you can just get up in there with your sword, and once you've defeated the final banana monster, you'll see a door swing open in that room, and it's in this small room that you'll need to talk to the old man to learn your third and final song. So now that you have your wooden whistle and all 3 songs unlocked, let's talk about what each one of these songs actually does. The first song, played 1 2 3 1 2 3, can be used to find nearby bombable locations that you might otherwise miss. To show you where to bomb, you'll see an outline of Moto's face, and you'll just need to place a bomb nearby. The second song, played 332 331, as we covered earlier, will open some doors around Super Adventure Box, usually the mountainsides that have a bit of a face or a mouth. And the final song, played 133 133, actually destroys nearby ice formations like stalactites and those frozen sheets of ice that are blocking your path in certain parts of Super Adventure Box. Whether you came here looking to get some of those new upgrades, or if you just wanted to collect all 3 songs, I hope you found this video helpful. And if you don't mind waiting a little while, I will be putting out a video on those upgrades and how to unlock them. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.